Good evening, Scare friends. It's your old buddy, Mr. GRiM, and we're back for another show. Back for another show. Masks and stuff. Yeah. It's gonna be a cool show, friends. I'm really excited because it's almost Halloween. It's almost Halloween, and Mr. GRiM has already started decorating. Yes, already started decorating. But to be honest, folks, Mr. GRiM makes Scarecrow masks all year round, so it's really Halloween around here 24/7, 365 days a year. I'm up to my old corn cob in Halloween. But for you guys, Halloween comes but once a year. And it's a special time of the year, and a special time when you can all decorate and have some fun and scare some kids and hand out candy. So, for this show, I've decided to throw in a few basic ideas that Mr. GRiM likes to use to decorate, and maybe by passing my ideas on, you can get some ideas of your own to help you decorate your haunt or your house or your garage when it comes to that special night. Okay, so let's start off the show here, because we do have some masks too, of course. And we're going to start the show off with this baby. Now, Mr. GRiM is a big fan of urban exploring. Now, if you don't know what urban exploring is, Mr. GRiM will explain it to you. That's when you hop in a van, you drive around looking for deserted and forgotten places. You make sure the cops aren't watching, then you hop out, you go in, you loot the place and run. And that's what happened last year, folks. I was on the highway, I found an old deserted drive-in theater. Yeah, deserted drive-in theater. Everything was overgrown, it was a mess, and then I noticed, out in the back, I noticed this really cool looking thing. It was a swing set. And I know what you're asking, folks. You're saying, hey, Mr. GRiM, what the heck does a swing set have to do with Halloween? Well, folks, I went up there, and old Mr. GRiM got his big industrial bolt cutters out, because you gotta cut through your stuff sometimes. And I liberated this. Look at that. This is a swing. It's an old child swing, one of those old burlap ones, really thick canvas, and old Mother Nature has weathered it nicely. Look at that. That's a beauty. So I like stuff like this. Don't ask me why. I've got issues. Anyway, so I liberated this swing, and it makes a great decoration piece. And you're probably asking yourself how we do that. Well, very simple, folks. Old Mr. GRiM, one of old Mr. GRiM's hobbies is he likes to collect chains and things with hooks on them. Yeah, that's one of my favorite hobbies. So, for example, for this swing, what I do is I take the hook, I put it through here. Now, you could use a chain as well. You could chain. I've got the chain. Of course I got the chain. Am I crazy? Of course I took the chain too. I took everything. I would have taken a swing set if I could have fit it in my van. So, you take that, you take the hook on a chain there, and now you got a nice set piece there, and you can put all sorts of things in there if you want. As a holder, you could put a candle in there, right? You could set a candle in. Look at that. That's a cool little conversation piece on your porch. Yeah, you can put a can in there, a candle. There you go. Here's a really cool vintage can of corn. And you put that in there, vintage can of corn. That's crazy. You want to go Texas on that. Put an old can of corn. Nobody's going to get that, but you will. I will, and fight Mr. GRiM over. Okay, that's just one idea. So that's an old swing. Nature makes great stuff, especially when it's been left and forgotten. And then you happen along with a van and a pair of bolt cutters. That's an antique swing. I love that one. And hooks. You know, Mr. GRiM has lots of hooks. I like to collect hooks and chains. You know, don't ask me why, kids. Probably don't want to know the answer to that. Okay, let's put those down. Next cool piece I've got to show you. About 10 years ago, Mr. GRiM was out in the field. Never mind what I was doing in the field. I was just hopping upon a field there, and I found a bicycle seat. Now, most of you are asking yourselves right now, Mr. GRiM, what the heck does a bicycle seat have to do with Halloween set deck? Well, folks, this bicycle seat had been left to the elements for decades, I'm assuming. Decades. I'm guessing this bike seat's from the 40s. And I'm not too sure, but all the material's gone, and all that was left is steel and springs. Look how cool that looks. I think that's really cool. I think that's art. And so, in order to turn this into more of a nice display, you could use it as a stand-up display. Attach an animal skull to that baby. Look at that. That's got Texas written all over it. So there you go. So you can set that there. boom, sits right up as a nice display. Or, if you really want to close escrow on this one, you take one of those hooks I was telling you about, and you hook it in there, and then you hang it up. Look at that. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Give me your candy, kids. Give me your candy. Yeah. There you go. See that? Only Mr. GRiM could take a bicycle seat and turn it into something that's terrifying. It takes years of practice to do that, kids. Years of practice. Okay, scare friends, we're going to put the hook down before old Mr. GRiM accidentally hooks his corn cob. Let's go on to the next piece. Now, the next piece, I got a bunch of these. I found an old farm, and I contacted the owner, and he had a bunch of stuff in his farm, and he sold it to me because I'm a nice guy. And, yeah, nothing screams Halloween like an abattoir meat hook. Yeah, so I found a farm with a bunch of these, and he had no longer use for them because he'd got out of the cattle trade. Yeah, there it is. So I got a whole bunch of these cool meat hooks. Now, the cool thing with meat hooks is you can actually make a complete rail system. Flex them around. That requires a little bit of ingenuity, scare friends, I gotta be honest with you. Or you just do simple, is you get larger hooks, thread them under there, and then just hang the hook. Hang the hook like that. Or, if you really want to be cool, you could take a chain, latch it to that, and drag this behind you on the street when you're trick-or-treating. That's enough to scare people. Look at that crazy guy, he's dragging a huge meat hook. Try something like that. Plus you get a good workout, because these things weigh about 15 pounds. Okay, meat hooks, swing set seats, bicycle seats, animal skulls. That's a Mr. GRiM Halloween if ever I've heard it. Okay, folks, let's get on to the meat and the potatoes of the show. And that's Scarecrow masks. That's why we're all here. Now, I have 2 masks to show you today, and both of them are custom designs. Both of them are custom designs. So let's take a look at the first one. The first one, its design is what we call the helmet version. And I call it the helmet version because it looks basically like a motorcycle helmet. It's really that simple, scare friends. So it's a motorcycle helmet design. Now, this mask was custom made for a band, and the guy in the band plays a guitar, and he wanted to be able to look ahead but still look down, hence the larger eye holes. And he wanted full, unrestricted head and neck motion because he's on stage playing guitar. So he wants to be able to see the ground, his neck, his frets, whatever. And that's where that came about. So that's why the bigger eye holes and the helmet style. Also, because he might be doing some singing or some talking, I manufactured a lot of extra room in the front. Now, it doesn't look like it, but you could literally fit the hand up in front of your face like that inside. There's that much extra room. So this one, if you're familiar with my work, you've already recognized that this one is a custom version of the Barn Dweller. So we like the Barn Dweller design, but just with meaner brows. This one has meaner brows, bigger eye holes, and a more protruding front so that his face was free to move around and talk and sing. I've made a number of these for bands over the years, and they always turn out really well, and the musicians are always really happy to wear them because it gets a great effect on the audience, and they're lightweight, easy to wear, easy on, easy off, and they're low maintenance. Yeah, so that's the customization one there. Now, with all my masks, this is the same. It's got 16 gauge wire in there, so you can see here, if I turn it this way, you can see that flex there. That's the wire holding it. Very firm, flexible wire in there. It's got sponges for comfort. And, of course, it laces up easily in the back. So this is a customized Barn Dweller for stage use. Okay, put him over there. Yeah, I really liked him. He was a lot of fun to build. I like building custom work because it gives me ideas that, well, Mr. GRiM can steal later. Cuts down on my brain power. Okay, let's move on. We have another custom mask here, and one of Mr. GRiM's most popular masks, no shades of gray and secrets here, is the Hatchet Scarecrow. And if you've been on Mr. Grimm's site or seen Mr. Grimm's other shows, you already know the Hatchet Scarecrow. Well, one client came to Mr. Grimm and he said, Mr. Grimm, I want to do something with the Hatchet Scarecrow a little different. I want to make it a little scarier. I want to get it a little gnarlier. I said, cool. What did you have in mind? And he says, I want teeth in the front. I said to myself, oh, I'm definitely stealing that. Anyway, that one, oh, it turned out really well, Scare Friends. And I brought it on the show before I sent it out because he's got to get mailed out quickly because the client can't wait to have it. So here it is. Boom, 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 boom. And he's got that really cool GIMP look. Now you have to excuse the camera here. These smartphone cameras, they have like convex lens, so it makes everything look like you're looking through a fishbowl. But I hope you get the general idea there. Now this one's really cool because on this side you can see here, it's all ripped open. Yeah, it's all ripped open because he wanted it all ripped and torn like it had been shredded and chewed through. And it's got a little blood, it's got all the steel rivet things there, and the clamps on the side. You got the clamps like on the Barn Dweller. Same thing, the only difference is that it's got teeth. And look how creepy that's gonna look. When he's, yeah, that's gonna look just fantastic. I love this one, it's a great idea. Now, again, like the other mask over there I just showed you, this one, 16 gauge wire frame to hold the shape of the whole mask, okay? All knotted up in here for the mean, evil brows. On the back, it's lace up. Sponge is inside for comfort, nice and flexible. And you can see if I tilt the mask there, you can see the mouth has an opening through the teeth. So you even get more breathability. Mr. Grimm's masks are very breathable even without the opening. But if you have a mouth opening in there, that's even extra bonus. Yeah. So this is the customized Hatchet Scarecrow. Yeah, and I also added some wire, alright, like some twine across the front of the teeth. I thought that was a nice touch. That's Mr. Grimm's idea. Gotta give myself some credit on this one, baby. Okay, so we're gonna put him there. He's going out tomorrow. Okay, friends, that's it for the Grimm Show. I gotta run. Man, I know you've probably got better things to do. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, thanks very much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your patronage. I love that you love what I love to do. So please keep tuning in. We're going to have another show real soon. And before Halloween, we're going to have a special show where I actually show you how to make some really cool Mountain Man knives. You're not going to want to miss that show. Anyway, until then, GRiMStitchFactory.com, GRiM Stitch Factory on Facebook. Have a look. Have a look at my work. If you like it, please feel free to order, but a word of advice. Right now, old Mr. Grimm is pretty packed down with orders, so if you want to wait till after October, Mr. Grimm would appreciate it. Anyway, friends, thanks very much for tuning in. This is Mr. Grimm saying, see you real soon, and keep it scary.